Gateway, and she was excited when we saw Gateway Nigeria. Yes, yes, yes. We were in Ghana in March. It was amazing. I was a participant as well, and I can tell you that what we have planned for Nigeria's Gateway is something else. Is something else, and I can't wait for you to experience it. So please make plans to attend, make plans to be a part of this. Amazing. I love how other women are rallying and saying, you can be with us, Mr. Muideen. Thank you for being here. Anna, thank you. Anna Fawumi, you're an operator and executive assistant joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. That is amazing. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Amazing. Amazing. I'm waiting for more people. I said 5 people. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm a strategy and business consultant joining from UK. All right, she just edited it. Mrs. Mobala, welcome. Mobala Dada, strategy and business consultant joining in from the UK. Thank you for being a part of this. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. This is truly a global audience, honestly. And that's exactly what we're trying to push out here. We're trying to push out trade across the globe, across continents, with a spotlight on Africa and Nigeria in particular for this season. All right. Oh, Mr. Mena, you're actually my namesake. My name is also Ife. Miss, I'm not sure. So this thing now, the gender, but regardless, we have Ifemena D, Senior Advisor for Business Development and Partnerships at Pulsifi, and HR tool for mass hiring, acquiring candidates who match the role and culture of each organization. I love that. And you're joining us from Areku, Ogun State. All right. Oh, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you. Good morning. Teresa is joining us from Lagos and she's a conference manager. Oh, that sounds interesting. Thank you for being a part of this. Hello, Uzoamaka Ugodo. You're from Agbara, Ogun State, and you are an agripreneur. Amazing. I love the diversity of everyone in this room, and I'm sure you can already start to see how we can all work together as people. Thank you so much. All right. So if you can, please, you can rename as your first and your last name so that we can actually, especially the ones with the phone, I'm seeing Infinix, I'm seeing a Samsung, so please just quickly rename with your first and your last name so that we can easily connect with you. And if you're able to, you can turn on your video. We'll love to see you as well and interact with you even further. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I also want us to answer the question I asked earlier. Why are you in this room? Mrs. Tammy did an amazing job telling us why she's here, why she registered. So just quickly, you could just drop it. I'm here because of this. You don't know what you're attracting or calling into existence just by putting it out there. So please just let us know. This is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm trying to attain or the next level I'm trying to reach. And who knows, you might just get answers in this group, in this room alone. So please, let's do that quickly. We'll be starting shortly. We've started actually because this is the essence of it, connecting and networking with one another. And we're trying to get even more people into the room so we have a full crowd and nobody misses out on the amazing information that was set to pass across. So what are your expectations? What are you expecting? What would you like to see, down the line? When the topic, the theme of this conference, when it comes to mind, what do you think about it, right? What comes to your mind when you hear the theme of this conversation? All right, I'm expecting chats to be buzzing. I'm expecting others to let me know the expectations. The floor is open. So what comes to mind when you hear how we can position women-led enterprises as engines of Nigeria's trillion-dollar economy and continental trade integration? I know that sounds like a mouthful, but what comes to mind when you hear that? What comes to mind when you hear, in fact, first of all, the money, the amount that is at our disposal, $1 trillion economy. How can we contribute? How can we position accurately to be a part of this economy? So what comes to mind when you hear such things? And that is actually the gateway blueprints. That's what we're going to be doing even more in this conversation. That's what we're going to be talking about even more in this conversation. So I would love to hear your point of view. What comes to mind when you see that? Okay, I'm seeing chats. Awesome. Community, Mr. Akintide says community cooperation. Dr. Niola says gender is inclusion. I love that. And she also says empowerment, enlightenment. That gender inclusion is so important. A lot of times women are sidelined. And even when they say, okay, there's empowerment, we're making moves, it's just at a very low scale. We need to see more women doing things bigger. Uzo says network and scale my business and products to reach international audiences. And that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. How can we trade intercontinentally? How can we trade across board? How can we trade across Africa and not just in our own sphere of influence, right? Awesome, awesome. All right, awesome. All right, I would also like to acknowledge the presence of some amazing people in the house, our amazing speakers, panelists, and also people from the Lagos State representative, Lagos State government. We also have representative, a speaker from Access Bank, the head of Women Initiative from Access Bank. I would love to introduce also, before I even go there, I want us to take a moment to soak in all that has been said so far and prepare our minds for what is to come, right? There's so much more that is to come, and I want us to be ready to receive that. On that note, I want us to welcome and warmly, with a warm ovation, we can't see ourselves, but we can put our hands together in the emojis and the chat and all of that. I want to welcome our convener, Lady Wumi Akisolotu, for the welcome address so that we can kick off. See her beautiful smile. I want us to really give her a round of applause because it's not easy putting all of these things together. She has a big vision for this, and she would be speaking to us about that right about now. The floor is yours, ma'am. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Wow, thank you very much, Naomi. It has just been so going well already. I've learned from the people in the room. Glad to have people from different places joining us today. And then later we'll have the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative, Trade and Investment, send representatives. We have from Access Bank. Thank you very much. And for everyone that have joined from different parts of the world, we are glad to have you here this morning. So I go ahead and say good morning, distinguished guests, panel, partners, panelists, speakers, friends, and everyone for joining us today. Good morning. It gives me a great joy to welcome you to our first ever Gateway Nigeria. And this is our launch, is a symposium and unveiling. For me, Gateway Nigeria is not just another event, it is personal. As a Nigerian woman that have lived in the diaspora, I've lived in 4 continents. I've lived in North America, I've lived in Europe, I've lived in Africa, of course, and I've lived in Asia. I've carried Africa in my heart, I've carried Nigeria in my heart everywhere I've walked. And no matter where I find myself, you know, I've seen and I've always been reminded of the strength, of the creativity, of the resilience and the enterprise of our people. And yeah, you can say I'm biased, but that's the truth, especially Nigerians, not just the Africans. And I've also seen something else. I've seen women. I know that in the room today we have men, and you see why you need to be in the room because yes, the model or the brainchild of this was formed from a women's group, but it's more than that. You need to be in the room, so don't go away. I've seen women build quietly, courageously, and consistently. Women with strong products, women with ideas that can travel beyond their local communities, women creating jobs, feeding families, solving problems, and holding communities together. But many of these women still lack the right access, the right to stability, partnerships, finance, structure, and market entry support to truly scale. Over the years, I've sat with entrepreneurs who are ready for more, but do not know how to enter new markets. I've met women who have quality products but no access to buyers. I've spoken to business owners who are doing so much with so little, but remain underconnected to the very institutions, investors, and opportunities that could help them grow. And I've also seen in those rooms where Africa is being discussed. And in fact, I love to say that Africa is not the future, Africa is now. And if you notice that the world is focusing on Africa, if the world is focusing on Africa, then why not us take ourselves more serious? And the question is, this question, is what brought me to this initiative called Gateway Africa. How can we be a bridge? How can we build a bridge? Because Africa is no longer a continent waiting to be discovered. Africa is now. The opportunity is now. The resources are here. The people are here. The creativity here is here. The markets, they are here. The talent is here. And have you noticed right now how the whole world is coming to Africa? Africa is also prepared to rise, organize, trade, negotiate, produce, export, and lead. The question is no longer whether Africa has potential. The real question is whether we can build the systems, the platforms, and the pathways that convert potential into prosperity. Across sub-Saharan Africa, women make up about half of the population. In Nigeria, women also represent almost half of the population. Africa has one of the highest rates of female entrepreneurial activity in the world. But but we can see that despite this, in Africa, we have less support than you can find every other place, though we have more women in entrepreneurial activities. So when we talk about enterprise growth, we are talking about women. When we talk about jobs, we're talking about women. When we're talking about trade, household prosperity, community transformation, and national productivity, we're talking about women. Yet the reality is that too many women-led businesses remain underfunded, undersupported, underconnected, and undervisible. Africa holds about 65% of the world's remaining uncultivated arable land. That means Africa is not only able to feed itself, it can provide and feed for the whole world. But our potential alone does not create food security. Potential alone does not create exports. Potential alone does not create value chain. We need investment. We need processing. We need logistics. We need standards. We need packaging. We need financing. We need facilitation. We need women and small businesses positioned within these value chains, not excluded from them. That is why Gateway Africa matters. A business in Lagos should be able to access buyers in Accra, in Nairobi, in Johannesburg, in Kigali, in Toronto, in London, and Dubai. A beauty brand, a textile producer, an agric business, a logistic company, a tech-enabled service provider, or creative enterprise should have clever pathways into new markets. Gateway Nigeria exists to help build those pathways. Earlier this year, we piloted Gateway Ghana. We started as an immersion, became a powerful reminder that women are placed in right rooms. When they are exposed to policy, market, institutions, bias, and one another, something shifts. Confidence rises, vision expands, connections are made, possibilities become clearer. Gateway Nigeria is our next step. And you might ask me why Nigeria? Because of course I'm a Nigerian. But not only that, because Nigeria is the largest Black nation in the whole world. Nigeria is one of Africa's most important economic, cultural, entrepreneurial, and creative force. What happens in Nigeria does not stay in Nigeria. It influences the continent. It influences the diaspora. It influences perception, investment, innovation, trade, culture, and confidence. For Africa to rise economically, Nigeria must take its place. For intra-Africa trade to accelerate, Nigeria must take its place. For women-led enterprise to become engines of growth in Africa, Nigeria must take its place. And that's why our theme is so important. Positioning women-led enterprise as engines of Nigerian $1 trillion economy and continental trade integration. Today is not only about conversation, it's about unveiling a platform designed to create success, opportunities, plus partnerships, market entry for women-led enterprises, and growth-focused businesses. And that's why you are here today. And that's why you are here today. For us, we want Africa to be great. For the Africa we want, and for the Nigeria we want, we cannot afford to stand on the sidelines. This is urgent, this is necessary, and this is the time. So today, I invite you to listen with openness, engage with intention, and imagine what becomes possible when we build together. Thank you for being part of this beginning. Welcome to Gateway Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lady Wumi, for sharing the heart, the vision, and the purpose behind Gateway Nigeria. I mean, what stood out to me the most is that this initiative is simply not about hosting another event, but about creating a platform that connects ambition with opportunity and local enterprise with global possibilities. I saw something, in the chat that also resonated with me. It was when you said potential alone cannot create exports. And then the person also included potential alone cannot create value chains. Those two things you said were so powerful, and it's so true. We can't keep relying on the potential that Nigeria is great. We need to start doing the active work, to taking it further to reality. So thank you for leading this vision and for bringing us together today. Our next speaker represents an institution that continues to play a critical role in driving economic growth, enterprise development, and investment opportunities within Lagos State. Please join me as we welcome our keynote speaker from the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, Mrs. Dauda Olufunmilayo. She's the Director, Investment Promotion Department of the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, and she's representing the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade Baba Ambrose Medibin. With a warm welcome, please let us welcome our keynote speaker for today, Mrs. Dauda Olufunmilayo. I love how the comment section is buzzing. I love the emojis. That's so amazing. Well, welcome. She's right here in the chat with us. She's right here in the room with us. So she would be speaking shortly. Let's continue to hype her up in the comments. Let's continue to put in some chats, some emojis with expectation. Also worth mentioning, her colleagues are also here with her. Mr. Tony Adebola is here from the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment. We also have Mr. Wale Oduayo. We also have Mr. Omotayo Odunaike. Amazing. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
we can hear you.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm glad to be part of this wonderful program.
Thank you so
And
much.
I want to say thank you to our first speaker for that wonderful opening speech. I'm Mrs. Dauda Olufalayo, like I was rightly introduced earlier, from the Director of Investment Department from Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment. And I'm representing my Honorable Commissioner, Mrs. Folashade Bada Ambrose, who is Honorable who is not around now. So I'll be reading her speech. It is my pleasure and my privilege to address this distinguished gathering at the launch of Gateway Nigeria, an initiative that is both timely and strategic in its focus on advancing women-led enterprises as drivers of economic transformation, continental trade, and sustainable prosperity. I commend Blooming Ladies and the Gateway Nigeria initiative for creating a platform a platform I commend, sorry about that. I commend Blooming Ladies and the Gateway Nigeria initiative for creating a platform that brings together policymakers, business leaders, development partners, investors, entrepreneurs, and advocates committed to unlocking the immense economic potential of Nigerian women. Today's theme, the Gateway Blueprint, positioning women-led enterprises as engines of Nigerians' 1 trillion economic and continental trade integration, speaks directly to one of the most important economic imperatives of our time. The ambition of building a $1 trillion Nigeria economy cannot be achieved by half of the population. It requires the full participation, prosperity, innovation, and leadership of Nigerian women. Across Nigeria and indeed across Africa, women are not merely participants in economic activity. They are market makers, value creators, employers, innovators, traders, exporters, and community builders. From our traditional markets to our digital places, from agribusiness to manufacturing, from creative industries to technology-enabled enterprises, women continue to demonstrate remarkable resilience and entrepreneurial excellence. Yet, despite their enormous contributions, women entrepreneurs continue to face structural barriers, including limited access to finance, restricted market opportunities, inadequate trade information, low digital adoption, and unequal access to investment capital. The challenge before us is therefore not whether women can lead economic transformation. The evidence is overwhelming that they already do. The real challenge is how to intentionally create the systems, policies, in financing structures, and market opportunities that enable women-owned businesses to scale, compete globally, and participate meaningfully in regional and continental value chains. Distinguished participants, Nigeria's economic future will be significantly shaped by the strength of its micro, small, and medium enterprises. Women constitute a substantial proportion of enterprise owners and operators within this ecosystem, making their success inseparable from Nigeria's economic success. The African Continental Free Trade Area represents perhaps the greatest economic opportunity for this generation. With a market of over 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP exceeding 3 trillion, ACTA has the potential to redefine Africa's economic landscape and create unprecedented opportunities for African businesses. For women entrepreneurs, ACTA is more than a trade agreement. It is a gateway to new markets, new customers, new partnerships, and new investment opportunities. However, participation in continental trade requires readiness. It requires businesses that are formalized investment ready, digital enabled, export compliant, resilient, and globally competitive. This is where government must play a catalytic role. In Lagos State, under the visionary leadership of Mr. Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, women's economic empowerment remains a central pillar of our development strategy. The administration recognizes that empowering women entrepreneurs is not simply a social objective, it is an economic growth strategy. As Africa's leading commercial hub and Nigeria's economic nerve center, Lagos State has continued to implement policies and programs designed to strengthen enterprise development, expand market access, and improve access to finance for women-owned businesses. Through our Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, we have consistently pursued initiatives that support entrepreneurship, promote corporate development, facilitate investment, and enhance trade competitiveness. We have strengthened collaborations with financial institutions, developed partners, chambers of commerce, and private sector stakeholders to ensure that women-led enterprises are better positioned for growth. Recognizing the importance of access to finance, Lagos State has expanded support mechanisms for MSMEs through strategic partnerships and financing interventions targeted at small businesses, many of which are owned and managed by women. The Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSETF, has disbursed over 15 billion various categories of MSMEs. We are also leveraging the cooperative movement as a powerful vehicle for financial inclusion, collective bargaining, enterprise development, and wealth creation. Cooperatives remain one of the most effective instruments for helping women entrepreneurs overcome financing constraints and access business opportunities at a scale. One of our landmark interventions is the 10 billion LASMECO matching fund scheme implemented in partnership with the Bank of Industry and Sterling Bank. This initiative provides cooperatives and micro, small, and medium enterprises with access to affordable financing at single-digit interest rates of 9% without the burden of collateral requirements. Through this innovative scheme that also gives 6 months moratorium and up to 3 years in repayment period, beneficiaries can access up to 10 million to expand their businesses, improve productivity, create jobs, and contribute to economic growth. In addition, we are promoting digital transformation among women-led enterprises because we understand that the future of commerce is increasingly digital. Through capacity building programs, business support initiatives, and strategic partnerships, women entrepreneurs are being equipped with the skills, tools, and knowledge required to strive in an increasing technology-driven marketplace. Furthermore, Lagos State is actively preparing businesses for regional and international trade opportunities. Our recently launched Lagos State Export Readiness Program initiatives are designed to help SMEs understand export procedures, meet international standards, improve product competitiveness, and access new markets under the AFTA framework. Just recently, we delivered the Invest in Lagos Summit 3.0, a high-level economic cooperative platform and one of the most consequential investment promotion convenings in Africa. The summit drew huge participation from government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, regional economic leaders, institutional partners, development finance institutions, private sector stakeholders, and numerous others. The summit has repositioned Lagos as a true gateway to Africa's economic and elevated its status as a leading business hub in Africa. In the same vein, our objective is clear: to ensure that more Lagos-based and Nigerian women-owned enterprises transition from local players to continental champions. Ladies and gentlemen, as we discuss positioning women-led enterprises for Nigeria's $1 trillion economic aspiration, I believe there are five critical pillars that could form the foundation of Gateway Blueprint. First is access to finance. Women entrepreneurs require affordable, patient, and growth-oriented capital. Financial products must be designed to reflect the realities of women-owned businesses and eliminate unnecessary barriers to access. Second is capacity development. Entrepreneurs must continuously acquire skills in business management, financial literacy, export readiness, digital commerce, innovation, and leadership. Third is market access. Women-owned business must be integrated into local, regional, continental, and global value chains. Opportunities must be created for procurement participation, trade exhibitions, business-to-business engagements, and export promotion. Fourth is technology and digital inclusion. Digital tools are no longer optional. They are essential for competitiveness, productivity, consumer acquisition, and business expansion. Fifth is strategic partnerships. No single institution can deliver this transformation alone. Government, private sector, financial institutions, development agencies, academia, and civil society must work together to create a robust ecosystem that supports women entrepreneurs from startup to scale up. Distinguished guests, the future belongs to economies that harness the talent of all their people. The future belongs to the societies that recognize inclusion as a source of competitive advantage. The future belongs to nations that empower women not only to participate in the economy but to lead it. As we launch Gateway Nigeria today, let us move beyond conversations and commit ourselves to deliberate action. Let us create pathways that transform women-owned businesses into nationally competitive enterprises. Let us build systems that connect women entrepreneurs to capital, markets, technology, and opportunities. Let us ensure that the next generation of African trade leaders includes millions of successful Nigerian women entrepreneurs. And let us collectively position women-led enterprises, not merely as beneficiaries of economic growth, but architects of Nigerian economic transformation and African trade future. Lagos State remains committed to working with stakeholders, partners, investors, and enterprise support organizations such as
Hello, ma'am. You're muted. We can't hear you. Okay. Okay, she's back.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that.
That's fine, ma'am.
So I continue. Together, we can unlock the full potential of women-led enterprises. Together, we can accelerate Nigerians' journey toward a $1 trillion economy. Together, we can shape a future where Nigerian women are not only participating in continental trade, but leading it. Thank you for your attention. God bless Lagos State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you. A round of applause, please. I want to see the emojis. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was profound. The message is clear. It was an insightful presentation. The opportunities available to women entrepreneurs today extend far beyond local markets, but especially when you talk that initiative as how we can leverage it, and also the initiatives that Lagos State's Ministry of Commerce has gone ahead to do: the funding access, the strategic positioning, the innovation, access to the right support systems, so that women-led enterprises can become significant contributors to Nigeria's journey toward a $1 trillion economy. That was profound. What did you learn, my fellow participants? What have you heard? What did you pick out of this conversation? I want to see it in the comment section. Like I said, this is an interactive session where we're learning and taking from one to another. So before we move on to the next segment of this program, I want to hear from you. What did you learn? What stood out for you today? What stood out from you today? Okay, we're seeing messages coming. All right, I'm going to be reading from the comments. Lots of opportunities. All right, I'm expecting more responses.
Sorry, can I just say what I think I'm not very good at sort of fast typing. I think that what I took out of that is that there is a lot of capacity building that needs to go on. And I think the opportunities are there to ensure that women who don't have access to technology begin to get access to technology and to be trained to have access to global markets. I think the cry out to me was that we really need to sort of mobilize every woman and find out what her potential is. That's what I think I sort of gleaned from that.
I love that. I love that. That's so true. Thank you so much. And that was so spot on. I really appreciate the fact that you took some time to understand what the essence of this is all about and what she said in our speech. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dauda, for doing an amazing job representing the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Investment. All right, so now we move on to what I believe we would be one of the most engaging part of this session. We have amazing people from Access Bank here with us today. Amazing colleagues. And we'll be moving quickly to the fireside chat with, I'm going to be doing the introductions with her right now, the fireside chat with the head of W Women Initiative of Access Bank. I'm sure we've been seeing W Initiative. They've been doing amazing work and just being proponents of women-led enterprises in Nigeria, both virtually through their programs and also through physical programs and initiatives. So I'm going to be introducing our next speaker here for the fireside chat. We'll be having a conversation around the theme Unlocking Access. Nene Kunle Ogunlusi is an accomplished banking professional with over 2 decades of experience spanning retail banking, customer service, commercial, also beautiful. See her, just look at her beautiful face. Thank you so much for being here with us now. So I'll continue reading your profile and then we'll just go right into the conversation. I want us to, be very loud about our appreciation towards her in the chat and in the comments. So I'll take that from the top. Nene Kunle Ogunlusi is an accomplished banking professional with over 2 decades of experience spanning retail banking, customer service, commercial banking, private banking, and wealth management. She's a chartered banker with Bachelor of Science degree in economics and MSc in finance and investments from the University of Nottingham, UK. She is currently the group head women banking at Access Bank PLC. Nene is committed to driving financial inclusion and economic empowerment for women in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Prior to this role, she held several leadership positions in private client services, where she successfully managed high net worth clients, developed tailored financial solutions, and strengthened customer relationships. Nene brings a wealth of knowledge and strategic insights into creating impactful banking solutions to women in Africa and beyond. She is focused on enhancing women's access to finance, increasing loan updates, and building initiatives that support female entrepreneurs, professionals, and financially excluded women. Nene is a visionary leader committed to building platforms that support inclusive banking, drive innovation, and economic empowerment for women in Africa. I want us to give a warm, resounding welcome to Mrs. Nene Kunle Ogunlisi. I can see the comments already, ma'am, they're hyping you up, they're saying you're beautiful, and it is true. We cannot acknowledge that you are such a beauty. Miss Isabel says you're always supportive, that she gets your emails as a proud Access Bank account holder, and the mails are always informative. That is so wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of this. We really and truly appreciate you. Now, for this fireside chat, our focus is going to be finance, SME, banking, women-focused financial inclusion, and capacity support. But before we go ahead, I will just give you a few minutes to, say a few things, and then we'll go right into the questions. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Naomi, for the warm welcome. I'm privileged actually to join this conversation here today. And I must commend Lady Wumi for putting together this very important event. The stories or the conversations around trade is very timely. And women, if you look at it, recently there's been a lot of conversations around trade. My bank had one recently in March in South Africa, and most of the conversations you see, most of it is surrounded by men. You see men being at the forefront of African trade, and women who are about 50% of the population are they're underrepresented in most of these conversations. So this is very timely, and we are happy to be here. Like you rightly said, this is a double initiative of Access Bank. I serve as the team lead for the double initiative, and we say the initiative is a home for everything the bank has for women. So when it comes to women, we are there. I know this was supposed to be sort of a panel, and there were some questions, and I said, see, it is a women's thing. And when it's women's thing, we have to be there at the forefront. I must also commend the Lagos State government, and especially the Commissioner for Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade, represented by Mrs. Dauda Olufumilayo. Lagos State is also doing a lot of things in terms of women empowerment and women inclusivity. We've also had several meetings with them. And really the things about women empowerment, women inclusivity, trade must be a collaborative effort among everybody. We all must be part of this conversation. So I must commend Lagos State government and every other one who is doing great things. We're happy to be here. We're happy to answer your questions to the best of our abilities. One of the briefings we got was, it has to be very practical. And if you look at it, and I don't really have notes, I just want us to have a discussion that when women live here, they're living with information. They're living with things that will help them move their businesses from where they are currently to the next level. And we're speaking from the things that we have experienced in dealing with women. So in Access Bank, we serve millions of women, from the nano businesses to the market traders to the SMEs to the high network. So we definitely have experiences to share. And what we've come to do here today is to share from our day-to-day activities, day-to-day transactions with women, and the things that we think women need to increase their representation in trade and in access to finance. I'm glad to be here. Let's proceed with the conversation. And I must mention, I have some of my team members here also. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being there. That was such a powerful start to the conversation. And I especially loved that you mentioned how practical this is going to be. So as an entrepreneur myself, I am really looking forward to this conversation, and I can't wait to hear from you, hear from your years of experience and all of that. And I'm sure others are also excited. I can see the chat buzzing. I can see the emojis. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And a warm welcome to your colleagues as well. We spoke to them earlier. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking out out your time to be here. We truly appreciate you. So our first question is about funding. The keynote speaker mentioned specific things about funding, and you also said that as well, and we want to know, Access Bank has built strong platforms to support women in business. From your experience, what are the biggest financing gaps that is still limiting women-led enterprises in Nigeria?
Yeah, so the truth is, for Nigeria to achieve its $1 billion or $1 trillion economy, women must be at the forefront of it, and women must be empowered, And if you look at the numbers, there are about 41% of women are SMEs. Women SMEs make up 41% of SMEs in the country. And then there was a recent study which says that of 300,000 borrowers that were studied, only 27% are women. Now, IFC says there is a financing gap of between 12 to 15 or 15 to $22 million for women SMEs. And that shows that there's gap. Now, every day we see that there's disapproval for women loans. This has made provision for women loans. And for instance, in Access Bank, we have the W Power loans. Yet we see that the number of women who are able to access these loans continue to be very small compared to the volume of loans available to women. And that indicates that there's some limiting factors that inhibit women from accessing these loans. From our own experience, what we have seen is that traditional banks because we do analysis of women and the women's market in general, we've noticed that traditional banks and traditional lending models are still heavily dependent on collateral, which a lot of women do not have access to, and they limit it. I think even up to recently, and even now in some cultures, women are not allowed to own properties. Those things that started earlier are still somehow having their effect on women. That's one of the reasons why we are having this financing gap. Secondly, most of women's businesses operate informally. They are mostly unregistered. So if you look at it, we say 14% of women, 14% of SMEs in Nigeria are women SMEs. And then if you look deep into that number, most of it, almost like 70% are unregistered. So women have this habit of, it's almost like I'm doing a business, but it's very informal. And for banks to be able to give you loan, there has to be some sort of structure and some sort of registration. There has to be a business entity. So most women do, and even when they're registered, you see there's a mix of both their business money and then their personal money. There's no clear distinction. So you see someone asks, you sell something, they ask you, where's your business? Give me your account number. The next thing they give to you is your individual account number, is their individual account numbers. It happens all the time. Forgetting that for you to be able to access a loan, the bank needs to see that there is a cash flow visibility. There is actually a business and there is turnover within that business. And those are some of the reasons. Aside from that, sometimes women tend to work in silos, instead of collaborating. I do my thing. And sometimes that's why they say this cliche of, it's women that do women. They tend to work in silos. And these are the things we've seen. And that's why we build the community and encourage women and push women to be part of this community. And then sometimes also there is this issue of financing knowledge. So you just wake up, you say, I need a loan. And what kind of loan do you need? It's not all loans that are term loans. There are some loans for different purposes. So you come to the bank, the woman comes to the bank, all she knows is the knowledge I have is I need a loan, and she gets a loan. Sometimes what you need may be an invoice discounting facility, it may be a trade finance facility, it may be a working capital, but the lack of that knowledge of this is what I need, makes her get a loan that doesn't match a business cycle. At the end of the day, it turns out to stifle our cash flow, which inadvertently affects the growth of her business. So these are some of the things that we've experienced. And then knowledge of your industry, knowledge of what is really going on in your business, all those things contribute to the limitations that women feel beyond accessing finance. And what we've done, and that's why we do most of the things we do in W Initiative. I think recently we have even reviewed our loan system and made it in such a way that people can now access up to 20 million without tangible collaterals. First-time borrowers can access 5 million without any form of guarantees or anything, just based on your account turnover. And for you to be able to access that, you must have the account, you must have the structure that the bank can review. We have also further to increase women's inclusivity. We have also further gone ahead to make it a bit flexible. So because we know most women do businesses in their personal names, we've also further made it a bit flexible. So we take their personal accounts, look at the transactions within their personal account, and also see transactions within their business account, and marry it for them to be able to qualify to get certain loans that they deserve. That's some of the things we have done. And these are part of the things that inhibit women, the gaps that inhibit women enterprises from accessing capital and from growing some of their businesses the way they should.
Wow, thank you so much for that detailed answer. And I must commend Access Bank's intentionality to not just notice the gaps, but look for how to solve the problems, fill in those gaps. When you mentioned that, because I was already thinking the no collateral thing, for example, as a young entrepreneur, a young woman in our climate, you might not have access to certain properties, or you might not have gotten to the level where you're getting properties to get collateral, and that scares a lot of people from actually even saying, I want to go for a loan. But Access Bank has made it so much easier now to access, loans the right way, in a way that is credible and helpful for everyone involved. Thank you so much for that. I learned about the fact that there are loans available, but sometimes women don't access those loans for whatever reasons is best known to them. From what you said, also the lack of collateral, which you've provided a solution to, lack of structure, lack of collaboration amongst women, and so many other things that you mentioned. That was so helpful. Thank you so much, ma'am. But beyond access to loans, I'm wondering what other forms of financial support do women-led businesses actually need to become more growth ready and also export ready? So beyond access to loans is one thing. What other financial supports do you believe that women-led enterprises need to also become export ready and growth ready?
Okay, so one key insight I have observed is that finance alone does not drive growth. Women-led enterprises, they need four things working together. They must have finance, knowledge, network, and market. Growth will happen at the intersection of these four things. You must have the access to finance, and not just finance, you must have financial literacy and everything that has to do with finance in terms of business and how business is done, how your profitability, how all those things are calculated. You must have that. And then you must have knowledge of your business, knowledge of the industries, knowledge of the policies that surround that industry and what is available. You must have knowledge of the services, the things that are available that you can access within your industry and within the business you do. Like I mentioned that, you can access collateral-free loans for up to 20 million naira. And some people are just not aware of it. So that knowledge is very, very critical. Then you also need network. They say these days women collaborate, and we're beginning to see a lot of collaboration amongst women, especially within the younger generation. So you see where somebody is into maybe a fashion business, and you see them, some even go out of their brands and try to support the other brands. One is opening a store, you see other people in the same industry. And beyond your industry also, you have to network with people that are within your supply chain. So you can actually have those networks that will propel you to move from where you are to where you're looking at, to the global stage. And aside from that, you must have knowledge of markets. So what is selling now is, for instance, somebody does a business and you want to start doing businesses of winter clothes in Nigeria. It won't sell. You must know your market and where to sell this and what's moving in the market. And generally, the business environment is very dynamic now. So you cannot just stay on your own and say, oh, you're doing business and you're not aware of these things. And that's why we say growth will happen at the intersection of these four things. Beyond that, also, women need a lot of capacity building and business management training. We cannot take that out of any business, any women-led SMEs. There must be that capacity training, business management training for people to understand their business, to understand the things they are supposed to do. Also, we must help to formalize these businesses. I had said one of the limiting factors was women operate as informal businesses. We must find a way to formalize these businesses and get them ready, and so they have some sort of structure and they have some documentation to show, and then to show that, oh yes, this is a business and there's cash flow visibility and there's all the required records that they would be able to access the banks and even access some sort of funding when the need arises. Because this is a trade event. For export, there are special things that women need. So they need also to be trained on export readiness, and the standards, the documentation, everything that they need to be able to be ready, to do export. For instance, even when you want to export things, it's not you might say, oh, I want to export beans now. And in Nigeria, you would be shocked that you don't just go and buy the beans from the market and say you're expecting. There's some things that some particular countries look out for. There's some things that even your shipping and everything. So those kind of trainings and capacity buildings are very, very necessary for for women-led SMEs. And now one thing, a lot of times when we have these conversations that we forget to mention is insurance. One simple, unexpected event can kill your business. And I've seen instances where we go out and then we're trying to get women to do insurance. That is not in Nigerian culture at all. And you try to push them, no, you need this in an unexpected event happens and your whole business is gone. So they need support in terms of insurance, the knowledge of, when you're doing a business, you need to have this kind of cover and have insurance. And that's why we do some of the things we do. They also need, it is not at the forefront of it, but sometimes women need grants. And for us, we have this Womenpreneur Pitchathon program, which happens every year. We do it for trained women for 6 weeks and then give some of them grants. But the main thing is not even the grant, is the training. And that's why we emphasize a lot on capacity building. Capacity building is at the forefront of everything we do, because we realize that when you pair capacity building with finance, then women tend to be stronger and women tend to the businesses tend to be stronger and businesses tend to perform better. So these are some of the supports that women-led SMEs need to grow and scale.
Wow, thank you so much, Ma. That was amazing. I really loved the 4 pillars that you highlighted, which is finance, knowledge, network, and markets. That is so true. And I must also say at this point that I am a proud alumni of the Womenpreneur program in 2023. Was a mini MBA, and it really helped, in the structuring of my business. So thank you for the amazing work you're doing at Access Bank on behalf of every other woman who, has been through that program. And I think you also answered one of the other questions that I had, which is many women, and I would want you to also expand on that, many women entrepreneurs, we struggle with documentation, we struggle with business structure, and we struggle with financial records. I know that you mentioned about the capacity building. How can we go further? How can we continue to do that? How can we deepen that? And how is financial institutions like Access Bank helping to bridge this capacity gap? So I would like for you to expand on that even more.
So the truth is banks must evolve from just being lenders to growth partners to women SMEs, to all SMEs, but especially women SMEs. And I'll give 5 recommendations, where how banks can help bridge the gap, the capacity gap. One is to provide structured business education. You cannot take that out of it. You must provide business education. So we do webinars, master classes, trainings, business support programs. And the women SME as well. When these programs are organized, you must also attend, because if banks provide this or financial institutions provide these services and you do not attend, then it will not benefit you. So they must provide structured business education, simplify the financial information, and make requirements easier. I just mentioned earlier, we had to review our WPower loans and make requirements easier for women to be able to access loans and even access more. So simplify this information, leverage on digital tools. In the current climate, you cannot, current business markets, you cannot do without digital tools. And we must include all women in this. And when we look at women SMEs, we shouldn't just focus on the top 20%. If we want to use the 80% priority, we should look at the ones who are below, who are not privileged to access these tools. So what banks should also do is provide these digital tools. Your apps should address some of these things that women businesses need and educate them on how to use it. Invoicing, receiving collections, how to set up your stores, things to, but it should be a one-stop shop for the women. And educate them, drag them, whatever publicity you need to do it to get these women on these platforms. International financial organizations can also partner with development organizations and other enterprises to support women SMEs. And so what we do, what I have realized at the Dublin Initiative of Access Bank is that when we combine all these things, training, mentorship, market linkages, the outcome is significantly stronger. We've seen women who participate actively in our communities, in our activities, in our webinars. We see them progress stronger and make more progress in terms of their businesses than when you do not, when you just stay and say, oh, I'm doing business. Yes, you would be able to scale, but it will take you a slower pace than when you actively participate. So what I'm saying, I know your question says, what can financial institutions do? Financial institutions can do these things, but we must find a way to bring the women SMEs in. And even when we bring them in, or they themselves too, women SMEs must get involved in all these things that are happening, in all the services, the products that financial institutions are making available for women SMEs. I can go on, and when it comes to women empowerment, I'm trying to restrict myself so I don't say a lot, because we actually do a lot in the Double Initiative of Access Bank. And most times we are asking ourselves, we're doing all these things, where are the women? Where are these women? Come for these things, you know? So these things are out there. Financial institutions are doing it, but the women must participate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You've overdone what it is, you've over delivered. Thank you so much. I want to see in the comment section all of the, what you've learned, what stood out to you, your highlights, and also please start to collate your questions, because we'll also be getting questions from the crowd, and all of that. So one final question. You actually highlighted it, but I want us to see how we can go deeper. You mentioned development institutions. So how can banks, development institutions, and also trade platforms like Gateway Nigeria, how can we work together to create stronger pipelines of women-led businesses that are ready for growth and global trade? So how you mentioned collaboration as well. How can these three, individual institutions come together and propagate this?
Yeah, thank you very much. So the truth of the matter is no single individual can solve the challenges or the underrepresentation of women SMEs. It has to be a collaborative effort. So everyone plays its part. For development institutions, my expectations is they will build capacity and provide technical assistance. Bank will provide the tailored financial services, and then financial solutions, and then financial education to women SMEs. Government must come up with policies that are gender friendly. Is that a way to have a sort of intervention loans that are for women SMEs? Lagos State government just mentioned one in this conversation during the keynote speech, that there's a loan at single digit for women. Those are the kind of things that we see government should come up with. And then also the policies that would make the business climate favorable to women. And then there must be trade platforms that would encourage trade access. So for government, maybe the banks can bring the women together and make a pattern, maybe come up with a program, an event, and set up a platform, just like you are doing now, Lady Wumi is doing today. Set up a platform where women can come together, sell their products, and also push them into the global market. But the truth of it is that we must create an end-to-end support system that will move women businesses, from development financing to market access. Market access is very critical. So everybody working together would help create a stronger pipeline for women-led SMEs that would make them ready for growth and for global trade, and also make them very competitive on the global stage.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ma'am Nene, for sharing your expertise, your experiences, and practical insights with us today. I believe everyone in this room is living with fresh perspectives and actionable ideas for growth. And in that vein, please let us appreciate Mrs. Nene once again for taking the time to be with us. Drop your questions in the chat, and while that is being collated, we'll head straight on to a presentation by the Gateway Nigeria team. As we've heard throughout today's discussions, opportunities are most valuable when there are clear pathways to assess them. So this segment will introduce these pathways, and now I will be handing over to Lady Isabel, who is going to be taking us through a presentation. Ma'am Nene, please, you can still be with us. We'll ask you some questions from the Q&A session that others will be dropping in the comment section. But while that is being done, we would have that presentation now to officially unveil the Gateway Nigeria vision. All right. Round of applause, Lady Isabel, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Lady Naomi. Greetings to everyone. It's been a lovely session so far. Please give me a minute as we get the presentation ready. So I was just going to say that it's looking like Lady Nene and even our keynote speaker, had taken a look into, they were there during our strategy session, and they were even there, when we began to look at the problems and the challenges of trade in Nigeria and why we decided to come up with this Gateway Nigeria, with this solution. Very quickly, we'll be going into the official unveiling, and some of the things we'll be talking about, some of the things that we are looking to address as Gateway Nigeria. So let's talk. I think the first thing to do is to talk numbers. I was very excited to hear. Next slide, please. I was very excited to hear when the keynote speaker and Lady Nene, mentioned that the African Continental Free Trade Area, connects about 1.3 billion people across the continent. They also, talked about I think the keynote speaker had talked about the combined GDP of $3.4 trillion, which the African Continental Free Trade Area, helps generate. And one of the things that we have seen as Gateway Nigeria is that the World Bank has estimated that if we fully implement, this African Continental Free Trade Area initiative, it could boost regional income across continents by almost $450 billion by 2035. And what this means is that millions of people, not just Africans now, but millions across Africa, will be lifted out of poverty. This is not a small opportunity. This is what we would like to call a continental reset. Unfortunately, or should we say yet, intra-African trade still accounts for only a small percentage of Africa's total trade. I think Lady Wumi had said this in our welcome speech when she was talking to us, that what this basically means is that we still buy too much from outside the continent. We still sell too little to one another, and we leave so much value on the table. So why Gateway Nigeria and why this spotlighting? It's because Nigeria is the largest Black nation in the world. Nigeria is one of Africa's most important economic, cultural, entrepreneurial, and creative forces. And what happens in Nigeria is not something that stays in Nigeria. Nigeria is a major, major influencer. We influence we influence the continent, we influence the diaspora, we influence perception, investment, innovation, trade. We influence cultures. And for us at Gateway, we believe that for Africa to rise economically, Nigeria must take its place. So, a couple of years ago, I know the government began to, Nigeria set an ambitious vision to become $1 trillion economy by 2030. However, what we know is that this vision is not something that can be achieved by the government alone. It's not something that can be achieved by, the private organizations alone. Access Bank is doing a fantastic job, and they alone cannot achieve help us achieve this $1 trillion economy. It's not something that even policy statements alone will be able to achieve. However, fantastic and great they are. It will require the full mobilization of enterprise, of innovation, of trade, of investment, of women, of youth, of our institutions, and the diaspora. This is why today we are launching and unveiling Gateway Nigeria. what we have realized, and why our focus is mostly on B2Bs and entrepreneurs, is that the MSME make up the backbone of the Nigerian economy. We have 97%. We have 97% of all businesses in Nigeria being MSMEs. We have 46% contribution to the national GDP. However, if you look at those numbers, we're saying that the MSMEs make up, 97% of businesses in Nigeria. We're saying that 46% contribution in the national GDP. However, when we now look at the gap, the contribution to exports, the gap there is quite shocking. It's just 6%. What this means is that, yes, there is a gap, that we have to all work hand in hand to address. However, it's not just a gap, it's also a myriad of opportunities. Next, please. It also shows a myriad of opportunities. And one of the things that we have seen, and research has shown, and just like the keynote speaker was saying, is that women are already building, they're producing. I know that Lady Nene had also mentioned it. We have a lot of women at the forefront of these MSMEs. We have a whole number of them in the informal sectors, and their participation there is quite significant. And these guys are not small players, they are economic drivers. Every sale, every input is an economic driver. And so this is not an issue of, do women have the capacity to drive or lead enterprises and to run businesses. It is an issue of access, and this is what Gateway Nigeria is seeking to solve. Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, I wanted us to do a drum roll just before the slide, but it's fine, we'll still come off. Okay, so I would like a drum roll at this point, even though next slide. I would like a drum roll in the comment section as we are going into properly unveiling Gateway Nigeria in the next slide. Okay, let the slide come up now. I know that we're putting our drum rolls together in the comments. Okay, so what we have said, and I am so glad that the keynote speaker and Lady Nene have been able to help with problem statement and help us also build a rationale and help us see why for Gateway Nigeria. Gateway Nigeria is not just an event. It's not something that it's not just another event or a one-off thing. No, it's a market making. We like to call ourselves market makers and bridge builders. Remember that when we're looking at the numbers, we saw that 6% of those businesses that make up almost 50% of Nigeria's GDP are contributing to exports. And so what we are looking at doing with Gateway Nigeria is leveraging the pathways of B2B trade immersion and trade show experiences. We're looking at how we can give access to products, how we can open up markets, and how we can build partnerships at such a time as this. It's not enough for us to just have, women ambitious and vision driven. There has to be an ecosystem that allows access for local growth, regional expansion, and global opportunities. And I liked what Mrs. Nene had said in her speech, in our speech to us, that we need finance, we need knowledge, we need network, and we need markets to thrive, because this is what Gateway Nigeria seeks to reinforce. So what's the B2B about? Next slide. For us, our B2B trade show is not just an event, like we've said. It's this B2B trade show, not a trade fair. I think that's the first thing that we should say. It's something that we have put together to bridge the gap between ambition and access. Remember that we had said that it's not enough to just be ambitious and to be vision driven. There has to be an ecosystem that supports growth, that supports expansion, and that supports global opportunities. And basically what we're doing with Gateway Nigeria is to make sure that businesses that are looking to, and organizations that are looking to scale further and access the global market, can get opportunities like this. So Gateway Nigeria, let me just quickly take a pause and explain this better. So for us, or maybe as we move on, next slide, I think I'll do better in explaining here. So what we're doing with Gateway Nigeria, it's not a trade fair, it's not a B2C, where you'd come for the typical buying and selling. It's where you, as a business owner that is looking to, say, scale, or as an investor, or a diaspora entrepreneur, there are people in the diaspora that are looking for suppliers in the Nigerian market, that are looking for partners in the Nigerian market, that have businesses already established in diaspora. Gateway Nigeria is a platform, an ecosystem that gives that access. And then another thing we're trying to do, just as Lady Nene was also saying, is this, at the physical event that would be happening, we're going to have policy clinics, we're going to have training or workshop opportunities for women that will teach on. We're bringing in subject matter experts and industry thought leaders to teach on, okay, how do I begin to structure my business? What certifications do I need to start looking at export? How do I scale? A lot of businesses don't even know what they have. How do I begin to make this business transgenerational so that it doesn't stop, with me alone? And so come September 7 to 12, all of this is going to be happening. And I think one thing that we want to mention for the participants on the uh, here today or on the call today is that if you register, if your company registers before the end of June 30th, you'd be getting certain perks and access into some of our taster sessions and some of our closed door virtual sessions with subject matter experts and professionals and some of our partners. So like I just said, the program highlights, the trade show. We have our B2B matchmaking that will happen. We have workshops that would happen. And we also have what we call site visits. So it's not just something that is going to be in, for those that are coming from diaspora. We're going to have people visiting, we're going to have business owners, and even those in Nigeria, site visits to certain companies that are looking to scale, that are looking for investors, or are looking for partners to supply. And then we're also going to have visits to certain ministries and MDAs as well, to learn more about better certification and structuring policy and basically the paperwork needed for scale and global access. Okay, next slide. Yes, so for us, we're expected impact. We're looking at having at least, or should I say, 100 plus, quality exhibitors. I think I should mention again that for the trade show and trade immersion, it's not women only. It's not restricted to just women. It's for businesses to come, network, and leverage the platform for global opportunities. We're looking at least 1,000 footfall per day. We're going to be having at least 10 MOUs being signed and over 60 B2B meetings. So if you're in the diaspora and you're listening and say there's a particular need that you have for your business, maybe to help you scale further, or you even want to set up in Nigeria and you've been looking for how to do it, this is the event to attend, because you'll be able to get the knowledge, the network that is needed, and the support that is needed to help see things through. Next, please. And one thing that I think that we should mention is that Gateway Nigeria is a part of a bigger vision. Remember that we started by looking at the AFTA, the goal of AFTA, and how trade can help drop or limit poverty. And so Gateway Africa is actually the main thing. It's a long-term platform. Like I said, it's not a one-off event that will be happening in Nigeria. We're going to other countries and we're going to be having this across Africa. And just so you know, we had in March done a trade immersion in Ghana. Next slide, please. Yes. So we had done a trade immersion in Ghana in March. It was a proof of concept for us. And although it was just a trade immersion, we didn't have the trade show, the trade exhibition, but we tested we learned, we validated demand, because we wanted to see, the problems that we are seeing, are they real? Are they genuine? Are people actually, is there demand for this? Are people actually in need of the solutions that Gateway Africa, is bringing to the table? And with Ghana, we were able to, validate demand. I know that the numbers may look like, oh, but these numbers are small. But I mean, it's a big deal to be able to pull 8 international delegates. We had 4 nationalities represented for the event as well. We had a Canadian, we had 2 Britons. Was it 2 Britons? We had, I just know, yes, we had some Britons, and then we had a number of Ghanaians and Nigerians, and we had all of them, coming to we had all of them coming to Ghana to engage with us. And one of the things that was beautiful was, even with this in this pilot phase, it still yielded fruit. We had a partnership for shea butter export from Ghana to UAE, and we also had a partnership, it yielded a partnership in consulting from Ghana as well. So I think that one of the things that we should mention is that Gateway Africa, or should I say Gateway Nigeria, is not just for people in manufacturing or people that have physical products. If you have a service that, is scalable, can be exported, why not? Please join in and let's have conversations at the physical event. So to round up, I would like to say that Gateway Nigeria is here because the time is now. Like Lady Owumi had said, the future of Africa, she had said this, and I just want to reiterate what she said, that the future of Africa will not be built by potential alone. It will be built by people who are willing to organize opportunity, accelerate access, and move with urgency. So I bid you, stakeholders, and everyone who is here, and those who are in your community, to please join us, support us as we launch Gateway Nigeria, as we unveil in Nigeria and even across Africa. We request for your support. We request for your partnerships and your collaboration as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. It was well delivered. All salient points were observed, and everything was put together in a way that we're able to really understand what Gateway Nigeria is truly about. And I want to believe that you can start to immerse yourself. You can see yourself being a part of this program. So please, more information will be shared across board. Look out for your emails, look out for your social media. We're going to be everywhere as we count down to September 7th to 12th. The link to register is also on the chat right now. So please just copy out the link, click the link, and then check through the registration, indicate your interest. We want to see you there. We look forward to you being a part of this program, this event, this initiative. Is one of a kind, and you need to be there for yourself. You need to experience it for yourself, So that being said, I want to believe that questions have been compiled. I'll be going through the chat session now to ask some questions. If you have more questions, it could be about the presentation that was done just now. If you need more clarity, please feel free to put it in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. That's why we're here, you know. So we want to see more questions buzzing. But we have a question for Access Bank. We have a couple of questions for Access Bank. Mrs. Nene, I want to believe that you're still here and you'll be able to answer this question, or some other Access Bank colleagues who might be here and able to answer. So the first one from Stephanie Obi, we have, will Access Bank be delivering a workshop at the Gateway Trade Show Immersion? I would like to attend. This is a really good question. This is a really spot on question. Access Bank, we would love to have you there. Please, could you answer this question for Stephanie, as she says that based on the conversation that Mrs. Nene shared with us, there are some valuable things that she learned, and she believes that a workshop at the Gateway Trade Show Immersion, people would want to hear more of these things. This is something that a lot of people don't know. So please let us know.
Well, that's so unexpected. Well, we will look at it. We will. There's still some time between now and the event, so we'll look at it. Yeah, definitely. But we're willing to be part of it. Like I said in the beginning, anything women empowerment count us in. So we'll look at it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. We also have another question for you. I'm just going to summarize because it's a bit long. Dr. Nihinola says, thank you, so much, Mrs. Nene, and the entire organizing team for this brilliant session. I'm so inspired, and this is an iconic experience that etched something impactful in me. So now our question is in regards to access. Having unhindered opportunity for the necessary structure to stay truly official, and she's trying to open an account with Access Bank. Is there any way opportunity that can be given as a result of being in this room to fast track the account opening process and register as a cooperative? She is into women empowerment, but they just transitioned into savings and investments platform for women. And it was officially commenced in January, and people have registered, but all the savings are going through into a personal account before being transferred to asset management account for investment. So I believe that our question is, how can that process be streamlined so that it's more legal and official?
Yeah, for the account opening, we can facilitate the account opening. And for business registration, I don't think I mentioned that while I was doing the fireside chat. So we actually have partnered with some legal firms to assist women formalize their businesses. So we can bring you on board on that partnership and then speak with the legal partners so they can assist with your business registration. The technicalities about moving funds from when it's received to the Access Bank account, we may need to have some conversations to understand how that works and see and offer our own advice on the best way to go about that. So we're willing. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or if you need so I can put my number here. If you want me to put my number here, I'm free. I can put my number here, and then you can always reach out to me, or you can reach out to me through Lady Wumi. So you can actually reach out to us through Lady Wumi. We're willing to put you through on the best way to go around it.
Amazing. Awesome. So that, I think that answers our question, because she was saying registration is done. It's just the opening of accounts. So we'll go through Lady Wumi and then just get it fast tracked. So please, Dr. Nihola, just send us a message and then we'll make sure that this is done. Anna Pearl has a question, and I want to believe that this is a two-sided question for both W community and then also the Gateway Nigeria. So our question is, as a W community member, will we be able to attend the exhibition, or is it invite only? So over to you. Lady Nene is like, they really want Access Bank to be a part of this.
I think that question is to Lady Wumi. We can talk about participation, then attending for free or would be under Lady Wumi's this thing. So
Yeah, for what you want.
Lady Wumi? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So you can hear me. So I said for us, we want everyone to be there to attend. If your business is export ready, though we're going to have some trainings before September, so like at least you can start being on that route to be export ready, because it's not B2C, right? It's B2B. So we want it to be ready for conversations that could come up from you being in the room. So yes, if you're ready, of course, the link is there, register. Okay.
Awesome, awesome. All right, thank you so much for that, Lidum. And like I said, more information about all the different modes of registration, the different classes of attendees would be put out in due time. And we also have so many other virtual and physical events that will be coming up even before September. So please stay tuned. We have so much in store for you. Madam Tolulope is asking for your LinkedIn details, Madam Nene. So maybe you can put that on the on the
Same
chat.
as my name,
The same.
Nene Kulo. I'll
I
just add it.
was going to say that it's the same name. So please just search for that on LinkedIn and just, send a request and you can state that you came in through Gateway Nigeria. Madam Tokwe has a question to you, Ma, and it is that she likes that you mentioned all women need to be included, not just the top 20. You also asked where are the women and the women don't show. Do you think language is a barrier, as in the demographic of women who don't speak English? What does the bank do for literature in non-English material?
A very good and relevant question. Language is actually a barrier, so I'll give a backstory. We do this level of programs in the north or on the underserved communities within Nigeria. So we go to the interiors. And from that exercise, what we have observed is some of these women can't even speak English. Sometimes I have to communicate in pidgin English. And even with the pidgin English, you need interpreters. So actually, language is a barrier. Now, for us, we actually haven't started doing that in communicating with in local dialects. We did that just for advert purposes, to reach out to the women, to get the underserved women to attend the event. But in terms of documenting it and putting it on maybe media for people to see, or some of the things we do, is something we can look at in the near future and start. We can start in the near future. But I know we have some partners. So for the bank, we have what we call the Better Women. They are for the grassroots. So even our level up programs, we work with most of them. They are in those local communities and they speak the local language. That's how we are able to reach the ones that are affected by this language thing. And we'll continue to do that while we look at the bigger picture of maybe coming up with some publications that would communicate in various languages. One thing about Nigeria is we have so many languages, but at least look at the three main languages, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. That could be a good way of starting. So it's something we're willing to explore.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. That was really a really good way to answer that question. I really like the pidgin infusion. And one thing also could be in the materials, maybe in our 3 local languages, just creating pamphlets to distribute so people can know these things better. Thank you so much. I don't believe we have any other question. Let me check once again. Okay, someone says I'm looking forward to Miss KG Ola Binton says, I'm looking forward to Access Bank's workshop section at the exhibition. I mean, one more person just needs to say it because they say 3 times is a chance. So once someone else to say it, it is done. Thank you so much, Madam Nene, for your time. We truly appreciate you. Do you have any last words for us before you go?
Yeah, last words. Well, it's first to even commend Lady Wumi again. We've had a great time here. The opportunities is just not to finance women in business like we have discussed here, is to build an ecosystem that would enable women start, enable women grow, scale, and to compete globally. And the truth is, for everyone that is here, it is the information and the knowledge is passed out. You must participate. So as people like Lady Wumi, Access Bank, Lagos State government, everybody comes together to put these things. We must participate as women entrepreneurs. And we must also pull each other up, because it's they say when women do business and succeed, families prosper. That way is because women have the ability to carry everyone along. So we must also carry everyone along. Yes, the UNDP, well done. UNDP is also represented here. So we must all work together, carry every woman along to the extent that women from Nigeria become a part. And I also commend Wumi again for Gateway Nigeria and Gateway Africa. I like the fact that you're building something for Africa and you're starting country by country. It's a good initiative. We are willing to be part of this, and we will continue to do all we can to support women and ensure that women in Nigeria, women in Africa grow their businesses, scale, and become very highly competitive globally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your expertise, your experience, practical insights. It wouldn't have been a valuable session if you were not here with us. Thank you for taking all the time. We truly appreciate you, ma'am. I want to see the chat button. I want to see us thanking Mrs. Nene for her time. Oh, wow. Now questions are coming. Questions are coming. We've had 2 more people say they look forward to having you at the event. And Access Bank, how is Access Bank assisting export readiness for women who has products but not informed about exports? I don't think we have time for that particular question because we're trying to leave here by 12 p.m. But we have our word that she's going to be a part of us at the exhibition or subsequent events. So please stay tuned. We'll have her again with us answering these other questions. Thank you so much, Ma'am, for your time. Thank you for being with us today. We don't take it for granted, and we hope to see you soon again. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So if we have any other questions for Gateway Nigeria team, for the Ministry of Trade, Cooperative Investments, if we have any other final questions for Mrs. Nene now that she's here, we could just put that in the chat. If not, then we'll be rounding up shortly. Okay. I'm looking at the comment sections. Thank you, Lady Wumi. Thank you, Lady Nene. Thank you, Lady Fumi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Awesome. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is conversations create awareness, but action creates results. And today's symposium is just the beginning. Today's event was just the beginning. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an exhibitor or an investor, a buyer, a sponsor, a development partner, or member of the diaspora community, there's a place for you within Gateway Nigeria. We've heard the presentations, we've heard the conversations, we've heard all of those things. So as we come to our end, these conversations should not just be for today. It should be able to remind you that when women are equipped with opportunities, when we are equipped with resources, when we are equipped with the right networks, communities will prosper, economies will grow, and nations will thrive. So thank you for being part of this important conversation. It has been an honor serving you as your moderator, and I now invite Lady Toyin to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Over to you, Lady Toyin.
Okay. Wow, it's been a very wonderful section, and we are so happy. I'm sure everyone in this room have enjoyed every bit of time spent here, and I would like to say that great achievements are possible with great appreciation. And that's why I'm talking here today. Thank you, Lady Wumi, for the opportunity, for the vision, and for everyone, for all hands on deck. Good day, everyone. As we bring this insightful and inspiring symposium to a close, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to everyone who made today's event a success. First, we thank our esteemed speakers and panelists for generously sharing their knowledge. Lady Nene, Lady Odunayo, Lagos State, Access Bank, everyone, diaspora, and everyone represented here, experiences and perspectives on positioning women-led enterprises as drivers of economic growth and continental trade integration. Your contributions have challenged us to think bigger and act more intentionally. To our distinguished guests, participants, entrepreneurs, institutional representatives, diaspora stakeholders, and partners, thank you for investing your time and engaging meaningfully in today's conversation. I'd like to, stylishly mention Dr. Nin Lola. I don't know if I got the name very well because I could see very strong interest being expressed in the question. Your presence demonstrates a shared commitment to advancing trade, enterprise development, and economic inclusion. We extend special appreciation to our visionary convener, Lady Wumi Akinlosotu, and the entire Blooming Ladies Global team for creating this platform and driving a vision that connects opportunities, people, and possibilities across borders. To our volunteers, coordinators, technical team, and everyone working behind the scenes, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, and service. Today's symposium is not the end of the conversation. It is the beginning of a journey. We invite you to stay connected as we continue with the Gateway Nigeria Taster sessions and work towards the trade immersion and exhibition in September. Together, we can build stronger businesses, stronger partnerships, and stronger pathways to global opportunities for women-led enterprises. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our upcoming Gateway Nigeria events. Access Bank, Gateway Nigeria is about access, visibility, and trade and possibilities, economics. So, access is already part of the Gateway, I'm sure, and everywhere, all eyes on access. Access is going nowhere, is already with Gateway. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day and safe travels for people that are in transit, wherever you are joining us from. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Have an amazing day, everyone. We've come to the official end of this session. Thank you so much once again. All right, everyone. Thank you. Okay, there's some comments in the session. We can network while we're exiting the call. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you, Lady Wumi, for this initiative. Thank you, Dr. Nihin Lola. Thank you, Madam Tope. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mrs. Dauda. Thank you so much for your speech. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dolapo Ajinde, thank you for being a part of this. And please, if you would like more information on the Gateway Nigeria Trade Show and Immersion, you can fill in your contact details and you get instant information. You get consistent information from us. So please do well to fill in that form. It's only going to take a few minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Joy, for being a part of this. Thank you, Mr. Muideen, for staying to the very end. Thank you. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. We believe that it was insightful for you. This was a great program for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Nene, our speakers, our lovely speakers, the entire organizing team. Thank you for being with us, Lagos State representatives. Thank you for making this even more insightful. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we just also want to thank UNDP in their absence. Yes, they were supposed to be part of this.
Yes, we have a partnership with the UNDP, and unfortunately, they were not able to be here due to unforeseen circumstances, but they will definitely be a part of subsequent events. So UNDP, in absentia, we say thank you for your partnership, for believing in this vision. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you in subsequent ones. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Tammy, for staying. Thank you, Obanuju Okoli. Thank you, Annapel. Thank you, Dr. Nihinola. Thank you, Titilola, for staying with us. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here. Oh, thank you so much, Lady Toyi. Thank you. We believe that this was what's the time invested. Thank you, Grace, for being here. Thank you, Oyindamola, for being here. Thank you, Tolu Ayobami. Thank you, Missy Additional. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Modupe. Thank you for the questions that came in as well. Thank you, Omotola Yaya. Thank you, Adebimpe Bada. Thank you, Essay. Thank you.
Yes, you can drop your LinkedIn. Just network before you go. You can drop your LinkedIn.
Yes,
your LinkedIn.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please do that. And Sakwe is saying, if anyone would like to collaborate, connect, and have my business and legal insights and signposting, please connect with her on LinkedIn for capacity building. That's things that international countries may require. So please, everyone drop your LinkedIn accounts. Let's start the collaboration from here. Let's start the networking from here. So that by the time we meet at September, we would already have stories to tell about how it all started from the virtual launch and symposium gathering. All right, I can see Mrs. Tammy's LinkedIn account, Tammy Clariza Abusi. Essay has also dropped hers in the comment section. This is what it's all about. Women empowerment would start from collaboration. And please feel free, if there are any questions you have for us, please feel free to reach out to us. Follow us on all social media platforms, Blooming Ladies, Gateway Nigeria, Gateway Africa. You can also reach out to Lady Wumi if you have any particular questions, or better yet, just fill the form in the comment section and you'll be able to get responses. Rachel Idowu, you want to say something? Do you want to speak now? I can see your hand is raised. Hi, Rachel. Was that a mistake?